Good morning and welcome to our Employer Highlight Series. My name is Scott Johnson. I'm the Job Center operator here at the Ohio Means Jobs Columbus Franklin County Job Center. And I'm excited today to have Kara Christensen, who is a recruiter with Gap Inc., joining us today. Kara, welcome to our Employer Highlight Series.
Thank you, Scott, for having me. I'm excited to talk about Gap today.
I tell you what, this honestly is one of the favorite parts of my job. I know everybody that's watched multiple employer highlights knows I always talk about this. But I think one of the things that is fascinating to me is how we can help our local employers really get the word out about the great opportunities that they have, the great culture within their organizations. And so we're happy to have you joining us today. For those of you who don't know, when we have an employer highlight series on Tuesday mornings, we do this in conjunction with what we call a Thursday with an employer. And so Kara and the team from Gap Inc. will be here at our job center on Thursday at 11 o'clock to actually be starting the hiring process, to be
Yes.
taking applications, talking about their open positions. So as you watch the session today, if you think that this isn't something you're really interested in, we'll explain to you how you can get registered. You can come in and actually meet with Kara and the team and pursue those employment opportunities.
That's right.
Okay, so to get started, I always like to start big picture. So why don't you take a couple of minutes and explain to us a little bit about the history of Gap Inc. and how long they've been here in Columbus, that type of thing, so we can kind of get a framework around the organization.
Yep, sounds good. So Gap Inc. is essentially it's four brands, and a lot of people don't know that. It is Gap, Old Navy, Banana Republic, and Athleta. So the company was started probably around 50 years ago by a husband and wife. And the husband started the business because he could not find jeans that fit him properly. He's over 6 foot tall. So they started the Gap. So the Gap has a really family kind of vibe atmosphere to it. Gap originally was in Grove City in Ohio, and they moved over to Groveport probably, I would say 5 years ago. That's a guess. But we've been in Groveport for, probably around 5 years and just laying down roots here, trying to provide opportunities for people.
That is excellent. And it's fascinating to think that this entire organization started out of a need to have jeans that fit, right? Like
Mhm.
I love that concept. Um, so let's talk a little about the culture of the organization and the facility here in Columbus, because one of the things that we always talk about in the job center when we're meeting with job seekers is that we always know that pay is important, the benefits are important, but
Yeah.
that sense of belonging and the fact that you work somewhere that you feel very comfortable is probably one of the most important things that we can stress to our job seekers. So let's talk a little about the culture at Gap Inc.
So yeah, Scott, and it's funny you said belonging because Gap is a culture of belonging. Gap is actually one of the first companies to have equal pay for women. One of the first Fortune 500 companies to have equal pay for women. So they're really, really right now focusing on making people feel welcomed, making people feel like they have a place to grow, to learn. Um, I know that one of our big things around here are words to live by, building extraordinary talent, speak with candor. There's just so many things that Gap wants for their employees. And I think one of the best examples is Old Navy. They have what's called This Way Onward, and it is helps underrepresented youth. It helps build their skills and confidence for the workforce, and they've actually already provided over 10,000 jobs for those youth. So it's really really a great place.
That is awesome. I tell you, you're speaking my career language right now. You know how I always talk about love languages? Well, I think there's a career language in everybody too. And you talk about learning and growing. And that in the end is really what we all strive for in our careers. So taking that concept, let's talk a little about how somebody could grow a career within Gap.
Mhm. Yeah. So I know here in Groveport, I can speak for Groveport. Here at Groveport, we have what's called kind of like Find Your Fit. So they implemented Find Your Fit. And what Find Your Fit is you get with your supervisor and you talk about, where do you want to go? Okay. Nobody wants to come in and work in a warehouse forever. Some people do, and that's fine, because we have opportunities for you if that's what you want. There's seasonal opportunities such as seasonal supervisors, seasonal recruiting. People can work with me, during peak hours. You want to come help me recruit? Come on, So we pull all of those seasonal roles from current internal employees. We don't hire on the outside for those positions. So what it does is it gives people the opportunity to learn new skills, try new things, and find out. Because, I don't know about you, but when I was 25, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. So to expect 18, 20-year-olds to come in and figure it out, no, that's okay. You don't have to know what you want to do with your life yet, but you can start by coming to Gap and finding different things that you like to do and seeing what it is that you like to do. So we have seasonal roles, like I mentioned, and Find Your Fit, where it's a conversation with your supervisor, where they will kind of figure out, where do you want to go, and guide you to that.
So I'm going to recognize very quickly the play on words as well with Find Your Fit, talking about clothing and a company that started because they couldn't find any jeans that fit them. So I think that's absolutely genius, and I love it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you're right. And one of the things that I was talking about in particular when I talk to our young adults is the fact that you don't have to have all the answers today. If you would have asked me 15, 20 years ago, would I think that I would be working in a nonprofit environment focusing on workforce development, I would have asked you, what's workforce development? I don't have a clue. So I think, getting that opportunity to try new things and to see, would I rather work in an office than out on the floor? Do I really like staying busy and active and moving around? Or am I comfortable sitting at a desk and, working on a computer? That's all really critical in finding that great fit. So I think it's great that you guys support that in the way that you do.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so we're talking a little about professional development, which kind of blends that idea of culture and benefits together. Let's kind of head a little more in the benefits direction, because we all know the paycheck is one part of it, the culture is one part of it, but those benefits are another. So let's kind of talk about the benefits that you guys offer for your open positions.
Sure. So one of the many, many benefits is the employee discount. As I mentioned earlier, we are 4 brands, and a lot of people don't know that. So our employee discount is half off at all 4 of our brands. Now, there are some stipulations, like if it's on sale, it's a lesser percentage, but it's actually a generous discount. So Gap, Old Navy, Banana Republic, Athleta. And I will tell you, ever since I started working here, I buy all my kids' clothes from Gap and Old Navy now, because it's so affordable and they have really nice items. So definitely the employee discount. Another thing that I really like about Gap is how quickly the benefits kick in. So the benefits start on the 1st of every month. So say I have an employee that starts May 21st of this month, their benefits will go into effect, if they choose to enroll any, of course, on June 1st. So they don't have to wait 90 days or 6 months or even a full 30 days unless, they start May 1st, and they would have to wait until June 1st. But we have medical, dental, vision, pet insurance, life insurance for your children, short-term, long-term. There are so many available benefits. And one of the things I'll tell you, Scott, that I really like, and I probably tell everyone about this because it pertains to me, but if you have a domestic partner that lives with you, you don't have to be married. You can add them onto all of your insurance, which is something that I really like. So that's another great option. And then 2, parental leave starts just after 6 months of employment, where most employers, you have to be with them for 1 year. Gap gives you parental leave after just 6 months. So that's really nice as well. And then the 401k, Gap matches dollar for dollar up to 4% of your pay. So whatever you put in, say you put in 3%, Gap's going to put in 3%. And then tuition reimbursement. So there's a few stipulations with that as well. You have to be employed, I believe it's for a year. And Gap does have some tuition reimbursement as long as deep, heavy discounts on several, I think it's Arizona State University. They have a lot of online degrees, but I believe it's 40% off there just for being a Gap employee. So it's really nice. And then the best, PTO. Let me tell you, Scott, when I got to Gap, I was like, I'm sorry, how much PTO am I getting? Did I hear that correctly? So it's 4 weeks, and it's the same for everyone. Merch handlers, HR, tech guys. So it equals out. It's accrued, of course, but that's okay. 4 weeks a year starting out. 4 weeks.
So an amazing discount,
Mm-hmm.
really good health insurance benefits that kick in very, very quickly, tuition reimbursement, PTO, like you guys have it all. And I love how you're like, but wait, there's more. And wait, there's more, because that's really important.
And there's so much. I could go on for an hour of all the extra childcare benefits. There's so much that it would literally take us an hour just to get through everything we offer.
That's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to go back to something that you said earlier about the words to live by. Mm-hmm. And so you can tell by that benefits package and just the things we've talked about so far, the Gap really supports that with action in providing resources to their employees. Yeah. So that's all phenomenal. Yeah. And the other thing that I'm going to think about now, and I'm going to give us another shameless plug for Thursday, because Kara talked about a lot of the benefits, but not all of them. If you have an interest in employment with the Gap, you can actually register for our Thursday with an employer and then be here on site at our job center on May 5th at 11 a.m. to talk to her and the team about those extra benefits that we didn't even get to, and about the open positions, and start the application process at that point. Because I think that's really the big key here, is finding that fit. And it sounds like you guys have a little bit of something to offer everyone.
Yeah, we do. And Gap doesn't just look for the right fit in skill set. It's a right fit culturally as well. So.
Yep. Again, you're speaking my work language right now, career language. So that is absolutely awesome. Okay. So we talked a little about the culture and the company itself. We talked about a lot of those great benefits that you guys have to offer. Let's talk about the hiring process a little bit. Can you kind of walk us through, if someone decides to apply through your website, or they happen to come to the Thursday here at the Job Center, what does the hiring process look like for somebody?
Sure. So right now I do have a lot of positions posted. So the easiest way would be to come Thursday, just so you could just get face-to-face with me. Like, we get hundreds of applications and I don't want to miss anyone. So, or you could apply at our careers page, and it's gapcareers.com. So if you applied for a position, within approximately 2 days, you will be contacted by either phone or email. And once you're contacted, you'll be invited to come in for an interview. Depending on the position, come in for an interview, or to set up a phone interview or a Zoom interview. So you will be contacted hopefully within 48 hours. And then from there, after the interview, it moves pretty quickly. You only got to do one and done for all of our positions here at the DC. If it's one of our remote positions, like a brand analyst or maintenance technician, those typically pertain maybe to TOPS interviews. But let's use the warehouse team member, for example. Come in for an interview. Once you interview that day, you'll be offered a position on spot if you're a fit, if it's a fit for you as well. Once you are offered a position, you will be sent a background screening. It doesn't usually take that long, but sometimes it could take maybe a week. We are a fair chance employer. And what that means is we go back 7 years. However, if something does come up, everyone gets an opportunity at what's called an individualized assessment. And I do walk them through that process. So we could talk more about that on Thursday. Background usually comes back in less than a week most of the time, but there's things we can't control sometimes. And then once your background comes back, you get a hire date and you start. We do not drug screen for any position except for maintenance and asset protection and forklift drivers. So once you pass your background, you basically get a start date. And the whole process, I would say, takes under 2 weeks most.
That is phenomenal. And I know when we talked yesterday in preparation for this event today, we discussed the fact that if individuals do come to our Thursday on May 5th at 11 o'clock at the job center, just to get another plug in there for it, they could potentially leave that session with an offer. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So how exciting is that? Show up at 11 o'clock. By the time you leave the job center, you might have that opportunity to complete your background check and get started with employment within a week. I think that is just phenomenal, and I applaud you guys for that. So you kind of hinted around about some of the open positions. So why don't we really go into what you're recruiting for right now, as far as the job titles, kind of the daily duties, maybe even discuss pay range if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And so we can really let them know what we're recruiting for right now.
Absolutely. So right now I have warehouse team members, and I have first shift and weekend shifts. So what we are doing right now is we're bringing in a group of people in just 2 weeks. So if you want in, please come Thursday. We kind of bring them in as seasonal, but it's only for 2 to 4 weeks. Okay. And that's only for the candidate to ensure that's a fit for them. But after 2 to 4 weeks, you will be given an offer for permanent employment. So first shift, and we do 4/10s, which is even better. So we have Sunday to Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Wednesday to Saturday, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. When you initially come in as seasonal for that very short time, it's $15 an hour. But once you're hired on, you get bumped up to $16.25. Now, please keep in mind that Gap offers a production bonus for all employees, part-time, full-time, seasonal, regular. So any dollar amount I'm giving, there's always opportunity for a production bonus, which can be up to approximately $2.35 an hour. So that's extra money as well. And then I have a weekend shift. It is part-time. It is Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 4. And because, someone would have to give up their weekends, we do offer weekend pay at a higher pay rate of $18 an hour. So knock out 20 hours in 2 days. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, and that weekend position would also get the performance incentive as well, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Production incentive as well. And then I have janitor positions open, which are, housekeeping. And I have first shift and second shift available for those. First shift pays $15 an hour. Second shift, you get a $2 shift differential. So it pays $17 an hour. And then I have some skilled positions. So if you're, a professional, an analyst, I have a brand analyst role. And that is essentially someone who is good at analyzing data, can tell a story with that data, but also build relationships with the customers and inside business partners as well, because there's a lot of communication and a lot of relationship building in that role. And then I have a vendor management analyst role. So that candidate is another analyst within our contact center. And you would essentially just maintain all of our vendors, kind of pull data for the vendors and on the vendors, and again, tell a story with that data. So those are kind of the main roles I'm focused on right now here in Ohio. But I also do have a maintenance technician 2 or 3 for right here in Groveport, Ohio. So for this position, what we're looking for is someone who has experience as a maintenance technician, because it is a level 2 and 3. That experience is very much needed. So conveyor experience, electrical knowledge, PLC knowledge, it's not required, but if it is, you might get paid more money. So that maintenance technician position is something that I'm looking to fill ASAP. So definitely check out our openings because there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm listening to all the opportunities that you have, it sounds like there's something for everybody. We were talking earlier about
really
that. You want to be on your feet, you want to be on the go, being really productive. Those warehouse positions sound perfect. More of your environmental service positions, that's also something where you're a little more independent. You know what you need to get done for the day, but you're still very active.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have those analyst positions as well, where you're really digging into data, building relationships. That's exciting to hear that you have that diverse of an opportunity for everyone who might want to join your team.
Thanks.
So I think there's one other big question that I need to ask you. Let's talk about what the ideal candidate possesses. If someone wants to apply, who is your ideal candidate?
So, honestly, the only thing I will say is this. If you work hard, you can get anywhere in life, right? I don't care what your past is. I don't care. We've all done some stuff in life, right? Like we've all made bad choices before. As long as today you are a person who works hard, is reliable, show up and show out is what I say, then you will fit perfectly at Gap.
So those are words to live by. I'm going to steal it from you.
I should just have them.
Show up and show out.
Show up and show out.
That's right. So for those of you that might be catching us at the end, just as a reminder, we will have Kara and the team from Gap Inc. on site this Thursday at our job center, May 5th at 11 a.m. The information's on the screen right now. If you want to register for that and you may not be able to access the website, you can always call us at 614-559-5052 and we can get you registered for the session. The exciting thing, I'm going to shamelessly plug Kara and the team again, with the way that they work their hiring process, you could potentially leave the job center that day with a job offer. It doesn't get any better than that. So Kara, any closing remarks from you before we wrap this up?
I just want to say, that thank you so much for the opportunity. We are always here to help. Everyone is welcome, and I look forward to, possibly giving all of you an opportunity.
Well, Kara, it's been a pleasure talking today and learning everything that you've provided to us about the Gap and the opportunities that you have here in Groveport for sure. We hope to see a bunch of our job seekers here to visit with you on Thursday at 11 o'clock for our Thursday with an employer. So again, you can either visit the URL on the screen, you can call us at 614-559-5052 to get scheduled. Kara, again, thank you so much for spending your Tuesday morning with me. I appreciate it. And we will see you on Thursday.
See ya.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.